So let's talk letting go of your pre-loved toys. Now let's get one thing straight. This video is not about quitting your hobby or getting rid of all your toys. My main purpose for doing this video is really to help collectors who are sort of on the fence of whether they want to let go of some of their toys, maybe because they need more funds, or maybe because they need more space, or maybe they've just grown tired of some toys, but don't exactly know what to do about it. Again, I'm going to say it's not about selling your entire collection. It's about prioritizing which in your collection you want to keep and which in your collection you want to sell, donate, or pass on to a fellow collector. I guess what I'm trying to say is this video in part is really to help collectors curate their collection, find out what they really want, and get rid of stuff they don't really need. So let's begin by discussing why is it so difficult to let go of toys. First basic reason is really cost. You put so much into the toys, and now that you feel you want to pass them on to somebody, you want to get rid of them, you want to sell them at a toy fair or a convention, or sell them on eBay or on Facebook, you're sort of holding back because you paid so much, and now you realize people are not going to want the same exact toy you bought years ago for the same price. Your toy has depreciated a little bit, and there's probably a better model, a better version of the toy, and nobody seems to want it, and you kind of feel like it's a waste of time to just sell it at half the price and all that. So cost will play a very important role in deciding whether to let go of a toy or decide to keep it. The next reason I can think of is it took a long time for you to acquire. For instance, you've been looking for an Iron Patriot or a War Machine for months, for weeks and months and all that, and then you finally get one. And then a month later, the thing goes on clearance for a third of the price. So, and then you realize you don't really need this figure because you wanted another version of the figure. And so you kind of feel bad at selling it because it took you forever to get it. And now that you got it, it kind of feels like a waste of time and energy if you're just going to sell it. The third reason I can think of is you feel you will need it in the future. I've gone through that dilemma several times and I've paid for it. There are a lot of times that I felt that this particular Transformer, I really didn't like it. I panned it in my review. I gave it like a 6 out of 10, so I'm selling it off. And then months later, I need to have that same figure in a review for a future review for comparison and all that. And I'm kicking myself saying that why did I sell it? You begin to think that the next time you think of selling a toy, am I going to need it in the future? Is it something I'm going to have to use for a diorama, for a review, whatever? The fourth reason is the idea of a complete set collection. A lot of collectors feel that if they try and sell one piece, two pieces in their collection will be incomplete. I know it's a little crazy to think, but some people are extreme completists, and if they feel that if they lose just one particular item in their collection, the collection becomes worthless. So kind of trying to juggle that in your mind. Do you settle for a more concise collection, or do you really want to exert all the effort in maintaining a huge collection? The fifth reason I think of why it's difficult to let go of toys is there's the back of your mind that you feel like you still kind of like it. I mean, you're not completely sold with the idea of getting rid of it. Like, oh my God, I've done that with so many Optimus Prime figures, that I felt that it's kind of nice. It still kind of looks nice on the shelf, but I kind of want to sell it. And, that particular pull of seeing that 20% or 10% you liked about the toy is kind of making it difficult to let go of the toy. And the last reason I can think of is the memories attached to a particular toy. And this is probably the most legitimate and most valid and probably the most difficult obstacle to hurdle when you're deciding to let go of a toy, because each toy will have a particular emotion or sentimental value attached to it, which makes it very, very difficult to give away, especially if it's something that's been given to you by a buddy, by your significant other, it's very hard to let go of that. And normally, I would not recommend you let go if it was given as a gift. If it was given as a gift, these are things you keep, no matter, even if you don't like it. If you absolutely hate it, don't sell it. Just gift it again to another person. Maybe pay it forward or something. But don't make money off of it, because when somebody gives you a gift, they give a part of you. And for instance, these two particular toys, the Amazing Yamaguchi Deadpool and the figure arts Darth Maul, both were given to me by my good buddy Randy. I mean, I've quit both lines, but I decided to keep these two because they were a gift, and there's a lot of sentimental value and emotional attachment with those figures. So yeah, it will be very difficult to have it. But apart from it being a gift, sometimes a toy, has been with you since childhood. It's been with you when you and your son bought his first toy, or something like that, or maybe when you bought a particular toy when you just got engaged, or something like that. Those are very difficult to get rid of, but sometimes you'll have to make the tough decision to let it go if you really don't need the toy 100%. Okay, but we'll get to that in a little while. Now, let me talk about the advantages of letting go of toys or pre-loved toys that you don't need. I'm giving a caveat here that you are letting go of toys that are not 100%. Okay? So what happens when you let them go? Well, first thing is you help out fellow collectors who've been looking for perhaps rare or gems in a particular toy line that they've been having trouble finding. It's nice to help out fellow collectors. I mean, the feeling of doing a favor for somebody, not asking for anything in return, just the idea of doing something good to a fellow collector, or just to any person, is really reward in itself. And I don't mean this to sound like a cliche, but I've done it several times, and the feeling is amazing. It is such a joy to watch, to see a fellow collector find something he's been looking for ages and finally have it in his hands. It is such a treat. Okay, second reason I can think of, obviously, you'll have more space. If you have more space, you manage your place better. You can manage whatever's left in your collection better. There's less burden on finding another cabinet or another shelf to display it. The third reason, which is a converse or in relation to the second reason, is when you let go of toys, then you can buy more toys. There's more cash flow, or you don't have to buy toys. You can buy something that you've been itching to buy. Maybe buy your wife a nice dinner, or go on a trip, or maybe take your kid somewhere, or use that money to pay off some insurance, some debt, some tuition fees, student loans, and all that. You'll have money. That cash flow is very significant once it accumulates over some toys you've sold here and there. If you just sell one toy, maybe it's not significant, but once you start selling one, then you sell another, a third, fourth, and it goes on. You get an amount of cash flow that you feel you could buy this toy you've been looking for, this toy you've been wanting to get, and maybe get your significant other something, get your family something. It's really a great feeling. The fourth reason I can think of is there's less worry about taking care of too many things. Get that feeling that once you enter your man cave or your toy room, that there's just so much to clean, there's so much to take care of, get away from sunlight, so much to store, so much to inventory, so much to display, and if they all fall down on the shelf, you'll have to pick them up again. It can be a bit worrisome to keep thinking about how you're going to maintain and manage such a big collection. And finally, the fifth, I think this is probably the best advantage I can think of. You are going to feel like a huge weight has been lifted upon you. And I'm not just trying to sound like very spiritual or anything like that, but it really helps you a lot when you lose a little bit of attachment to something that's probably insignificant in the span of time. In the long run, something that's very insignificant, you build a big attachment to it, and you get rid of that attachment. It feels like there's a big weight on your chest that's been lifted, and you feel that you can buy more toys. You don't have to worry about everything falling down or being eaten by the dog, or if rainwater is going to get in your house or an earthquake is going to hit, something like that. You're not going to be worried about losing a such a huge collection as opposed to a more concise collection. Okay, with all that I've said, what is it that you should do? Thinking about this, if you're thinking about letting go of some of your toys, or if you're not, and maybe you think that you have way too much, and people keep telling you, why don't you get rid of some? I take a lot of inspiration from this author, and now she has a show on Netflix called Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. She's Japanese, and she has these steps on how to tidy up and all that. But one particular takeaway I can get is she talks about spark joy, and essentially that's my philosophy of keeping it 100%. You have to get that toy. Hold it, look at it. Does it please you 100%? Do you love it 100%? If you like it 99% and below, you got to think about letting it go. For one, you will always see that 1%, 2%, 10% you don't like about toy, and it really feels a lot better to just keep the things you like 100%. Now, how do you do that? You review your entire collection, get to it, and then you split your toys, 100% and not 100%. And when you get to that pile that's 100%, that's not 100%, you find out what you really liked about that toy and why you bought it, and you figure out what you don't like about that toy, what you hate about the toy. That's going to make the decision a lot easier. So in conclusion, I'd like to say one thing, just to put things in perspective. These toys are not going to last. A lot of people keep things minute box. A lot of people keep things on the shelves. These things deteriorate once the plastic gets sticky. Once a toy gets too dusty, or the plastic gets brittle, it literally becomes next to worthless. Moreover, companies like Hasbro or Bandai or Mattel, they keep upgrading their toys. I mean, you keep getting a better Iron Man figure, a better Darth Vader figure, a better Optimus Prime figure. Those older toys, they're going to become next to worthless once 3, 4, 5 other newer versions come after it. I'm not talking about G1 toys or classic vintage toys. I'm talking about releases in the main line that, like vintage toys like Star Wars or Transformers. Sure, they can still command a lot of money, but mainline toys, every year there's a new version. And you got to start thinking of letting go of older stuff because their value is going to go down. And the next thing, keep it 100%. I keep saying this in all my videos. Keep that mantra going for you. Keep it 100%, and I guarantee you will be a lot happier with a more concise collection that's completely 100%. And third, unload to reload. That's another mantra that a lot of the collectors out here in Manila keep saying to each other. Unload so you can reload. If you're trying to get a new toy, get rid of the ones that you don't really like. You don't really like 100%. You can afford to let go so you can get something better, something you like 100%. And lastly, don't let your collection weigh you down. I mean, the best example, I always talk about this with my buddies, is when you are holding a toy, are you holding the toy or is the toy holding you? And with that, I'd like to thank everybody for joining me in this nice little discussion. Let me know what you think of letting go of toys or pre-loved toys. How do you let go of your toys? Let me know in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of this video, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. If it's your first time in this channel, please subscribe. This has been my discussion on learning to let go of pre-loved toys. Thanks for watching.